Good evening, and welcome to Election Night in America 2022. On this historic night, we will be finding out who will win gubernatorial elections across the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast. This will definitely be a night to remember, and let's get right into it. This is the current map of the U.S. governors. A red state means, of course, that the state has a Republican governor, and a blue state means that they currently have a Democratic governor. Not all of these states will have an election tonight. Keep that in mind. It is now 7 p.m. and time for our first poll closings of the night in Vermont, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, and Indiana. In Vermont, Phil Scott will win a fourth term in office. Of course, Vermont and New Hampshire are the only states to have gubernatorial elections every 2 years instead of 4 years. And in South Carolina, Henry McMaster will win a second term as governor. And in Georgia, it is too close to call at this point in time. Only 10% of the vote is in. Stacey Abrams leads by 7.2%. This race is expected to go to Brian Kemp, the incumbent governor, who is a Republican. However, the early batch of votes are coming from big cities like Atlanta. And this is our first update of the night. The Republicans have 10 seats to the Democrats 6. Of course, this is due to all the states that don't have a gubernatorial election tonight. It is now 7:30, and we have poll closings in Ohio, West Virginia, and North Carolina. In Ohio, Mike DeWine will win another term as the state's governor. And that's it for that poll closing. Ohio is the only state to have a gubernatorial election of those states. And that puts the Republicans at 11. Democrats are kept at 6. It is now 8 p.m. and we have poll closings in Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Illinois, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Missouri, and Oklahoma. In Maine, Janet Mills is leading over Paula Page. Janet Mills is the incumbent here, the Democratic incumbent. Only 8% of the vote is in, and it is too early to call at this point in time. She leads by 6.6%, winning 53.3%, currently to Paula Page's 47.7%. And we have our first flip of the night. Massachusetts governor will go to MAURA HEALY. Charlie Baker is the incumbent here. He is an extremely popular Republican, even though Massachusetts is heavily Democratic. He opted to step down this year, and HEALY will serve as the state's next governor. And in Rhode Island, Dan McKee will win another term. He may be very unpopular, but Rhode Island is a very Democratic state. And in Pennsylvania, it is too close to call at this point. Only 12% of the vote is in, and Josh Shapiro has a lead of 8.5% over Doug Mastriano. And in New Hampshire, Kristen Nunu, extremely popular, will win another term. And in Connecticut, Bob Stefanowski currently leads over the incumbent Ned Lamont by 3.2%. Only 11% of the vote is in. And in Maryland, Chris Van Hollen will win another term. And in Maryland, Chris Van Hollen was not supposed to be there. That was a Senate election. But Maryland's governor, this is the correct slide. We have our second flip of the night. Wes Moore will become the next governor of Maryland. Like in Massachusetts, Maryland is a heavily Democratic state with a extremely popular Republican governor, Larry Hogan. But Larry Hogan is term limited and cannot run again. And in Illinois, J.B. Pritzker will win another term. And in Alabama, Kay Ivey will win another term. In Florida, it is too close to call at this point. This race is expected to go to Ron DeSantis, the incumbent. 9% of the vote is in. Ron DeSantis leads by 7% over Charlie Crist, a former governor who was a Republican when he served. And in Oklahoma, James Langford will win his third term, maybe second, in office. And Oklahoma's special election for the, I did Senate again. Jeez, I messed up. Oklahoma governors. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Kevin Stitt will win another term as the state's governor. And in Tennessee, Bill Lee will win another term as the state's governor. No surprise here. And with this update, the Republicans have 15 seats to the Democrats' 10. It is now 8:30, and we have poll closings in Arkansas. In Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders will win her first term as the state's governor. She's the daughter of one of the most popular governors in the country when he served, Mike Huckabee. And that puts the Republicans at 16 seats now. It is now 9 p.m. and we have poll closings in New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and Louisiana. In New York, Kathy Hochul will win her first full term as the state's governor. She became governor after Andrew Cuomo resigned. And in Michigan, with 10% in, it is too close to call at this point. Gretchen Whitmer is down by 1.4%. Tudor Dixon, Gretchen Whitmer's challenger, is up by 1.4%. Whitmer is the incumbent here. And in Wisconsin, 7% of the vote is in. It is too close to call right now. Tony Evers is behind. Tim Michaels is up by 3.6%. And in Minnesota, Tim Walz will win another term. And in South Dakota, Kristi Noem will win a second term as the state's governor. And in Nebraska, Jim Pullen will win his first term as the state's governor. And in Kansas, with 16% of the vote it is too close to call. This is a very closely watched race here. Derek Schmidt is up by 5.8%. Laura Kelly is the incumbent here. And in Colorado, Jared Polis will win a second term as governor. And in Wyoming, Mark Gordon will win another term. And in Arizona, 13% in, another closely watched race, too close to call. Katie Hobbs leads with 52.2% to Kari Lake's 49.4%. And in New Mexico, it is too close to call also, 18% in. Mark Von Ketty has a lead of 1.4% over the incumbent Michelle Lujan Grisham. And in Texas, 16% in, also too close to call right now. Greg Abbott has a lead of 7.1% over challenger Beto O'Rourke. Greg Abbott is the incumbent here running for a third term. And in Connecticut, this is a key race alert. This was previously a too close to call state. However, now we can project that Ned Lamont will win a second term. Let's look at the vote share here. He will win 5.8%. To Bob Stefanowski's, he will win 53.2% to Bob Stefanowski's 47.4%. He will win by 5.8%. 80% of all votes are in. And in Florida, another key race alert here, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner. We can now project that he will win with 53% to Charlie Crist's 46%. This is a win of 8%. This is a 8% margin. It's actually a 7% margin. I messed up there. 73% of all votes are in. And in Georgia, another key race alert here, Brian Kemp will win a second term as the state's governor. Let's look at the vote share here. 87% of the vote is in. He will win by, those numbers are way off. He will win by about 6.3%. And in Maine, Janet Mills will win another term as the state's governor. Let's look at the vote share here, another key race alert. She will win here by 4.9% over Paula Page. 86% of all votes are in. Let's look at our updated map here with the key race alerts. Many too close call states do now have projected winners. The Republicans are put at 21 seats, the Democrats at 15. It is now time for the 10 p.m. poll closings in Montana, Iowa, Utah, and Nevada. In Iowa, Kim Reynolds will win another term as governor. And in Nevada, too close to call, only 6% of the vote is in. Joe Lombardo has a lead of 3.5% over the incumbent Steve Cieslak. And in Michigan, we can now project that Gretchen Whitmer will win a second term as governor. Let's look at the vote share here. She will win 52.6% to Tudor Dixon's 48.0%. Gretchen Whitmer will win here by 4.6%, a lean margin win. And in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro will win his first term in office. He will succeed Tom Wolf as the governor of Pennsylvania. He will defeat Doug Mastriano by 4.1%. He will win 51.7% to Doug Mastriano's 47.6%. Let's look at our updated map here. The Republicans now have 22 seats to the Democrats' 17. It is now time for the 11 p.m. poll closings in Idaho, Oregon, Washington, California, and Hawaii. In Idaho, Brad Little will win another term in office, a second term. And in Oregon, very closely watched race here, a race that really tightened up nearing the end of the election season. 10% of the vote is in, and it is too close to call. Christine DRAZAN has a lead of 6.3% over Tina Kotek. This race is heavily affected because of the independent candidate, Betsy Johnson, running for governor also. And in California, Gavin Newsom will win a second term in office. This comes after he survived a recall election in 2021. And in Hawaii, Josh Green will win his first term as the state's governor. And in Texas, this is a key race slate. We can now project that Greg Abbott will win a third term in office. Let's look at the vote share here. He will win here by 6.4%, winning 52.8% to Beto O'Rourke's 46.4%. A slightly smaller margin win than most polls were expecting. And let's look at our updated map here. The Democrats now have 17 seats, and the Republicans have 21. And it is now 1 a.m., and we have poll closings in Alaska. In Alaska, Mike Dunleavy will win another term as the state's governor. He will defeat Bill Walker, the independent, and Les Gara, the Democrat. And in Wisconsin, we have our third flip of the night. This is a key race slate. Tim Michels will win his first term as the state's governor. He overcame Rebecca Kleefisch in the Republican primary, and he will defeat the incumbent Democratic governor running for a second term, Tony Evers. This is a major flip for the Republican Party. He will win by 2.9%, about 90% of all votes are in. He will win 51.3% to Tony Evers' 49.4%. Let's look at our updated map. The Democrats have 19 seats, the Republicans 22. And in Arizona, we have a major key race alert. Kari Lake will win her first term as Arizona's governor. She will succeed Doug Ducey as governor. She will win here by 0.8%. She will win 49.9%, not even a majority of votes, to Katie Hobbs' 49.1%. 96% of all votes are in here. Kari Lake has won. And another key race alert coming out of the state of New Mexico. Sorry, it says Hawaii. Michelle Lujan Grisham will win another term as the state's governor. She will defeat Mark Ronchetti. This race was way closer than it should have been. She will win here by 0.8%, winning 50% to Mark Ronchetti's 49.2%. 95% of all votes are in. And in Nevada, we have another flip, I believe the fourth flip. Joe Lombardo will win his first term as Nevada's governor, flipping the seat away from Steve Cieslak. He will oust the incumbent governor. Joe Lombardo will win by 1.3%, winning 50.4% to Cieslak's 49.1%. 90% of all votes are in. And that puts the Republicans at 28 seats, Democrats at 20. And we have a major key race alert in the state of Oregon. Christine Drazan, we can now project, will become Oregon's next governor. She will win her first term as the state's governor. She will win 43.2%, not even that close to a majority, to Tina Kotek's 43.0%. 96% of all votes are in, and she will win here by about 0.2%, an astonishingly close win. This is a major call. This is the first time Oregon will elect a Republican governor in, I think, 40 years. 40, if you, not 4. And we have our last call of the night, and it is a major one. Derek Schmidt will flip Kansas's gubernatorial seat to the Republican Party. He will oust incumbent Laura Kelly. He will win here by just 0.1%. This is an astonishingly close win. This race will be decided by a few hundred votes, by far the closest of the midterm elections. 99% of all votes are in. Almost 100, because every vote mattered in this election, and Derek Schmidt will pull out a win by 0.1%.